In times past, I have found January and February to feel like they go on forever and like they are the darkest and dreariest months of the year. Here in the Pacific Northwest, the days are filled with typically a lot of snow, very, very cold weather, and a lot of just staying indoors. And I remember as kids, we would just go crazy these 2 months, and mom would finally give up and let us bring our trikes and our bikes inside, and we would ride around absolutely crazy. I am really grateful for this year. The weather has been actually one of my favorite winters I can ever remember because there's been a lot of snow and then the snow completely melts and it gets very warm outside, and there's a day or two of seeing the ground and seeing my precious garden where I can't wait to start growing things this spring. And then there's snow again and it feels like winter for a few days and it melts and it snows again, and I have found it to be really beautiful this year. But that being said, there are so many beauties this time of year that I'm trying to particularly notice right now when everything is dry and frozen and frosty outside. And I've really been trying this year to take advantage of these months that are a bit less busy, that have a little bit less work to do because there's not much to do outside, and try to catch up on things that later in the summer or in the spring are going to be very hard not to fall behind on. And for us, this looks like butchering our sheep that we really needed to do. It looks like doing some artwork that I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. I've wanted to improve in. It's also looked like doing a little bit of home remodel, which I'm really, really excited about. And so I wanted to take you along today and share just a winter day in a homemaker's life. However, before I can properly start any of those other things, we need to have a good fire and get the Christmas decorations put away. I don't know about you, but for myself, it's usually only a week or two after Christmas before I start to get the urge to start putting things back away, packing things up in boxes, getting rid of the Christmas tree, and just kind of starting with a new slate in January. I did think it'd be wise to mention before we get to these clips in the video that this video does include some butchering scenes. And so if you are a vegetarian or you are easily disgusted and disturbed by raw meat, then I would recommend jumping ahead a minute or two, because one of the biggest things I am so relieved to have behind us this January is to finally have our sheep butchered. And this has been something that we have been meaning to do and planning to do for literally probably about 2 months, and it just kept getting put off. And really, butchering is an intense thing. It's not just a day-long process. I always assume it's going to take way less time than it does. My husband is much more realistic when it comes to time frames. And so this was a good 3 days of work between the butchering and skinning and hanging, and then the next day the cut and wrap, and then the next day the burger and boiling bones with meat on them and making broth. And so I feel very relieved to have this behind us. Something about raising your own meat makes you so much more incredibly grateful for every single meal that you have and every single time you can pull a package of meat out of the freezer, and you know the work that went into it and the time that went into it and the animal that had to die so that you can eat that meat. My husband, bless his heart, he spends so much time over at our remodel, which has just turned out to be a major headache in so many ways. He's having to jack up the foundation and re-put in a foundation, do so much work. And yeah, it really makes me miss the summer weather where you didn't have to bundle up so tight in clothes. And it wasn't such a nightmare to be stuck under a house for hours on end. But wow, he is a very courageous worker and he does not give up. And I love that about him. Speaking of remodels and renovation projects and all, I am working right now on making a feature wall in Carrie's room. I'm super excited to share it with you all, but it's a little ways down the road. I've just gotten started on it. So I am focusing on that with some of this extra time. I'm sure you have probably gleaned this about me by now, but I love art and creativity in almost any form, in almost any shape. I absolutely love the filming, I love photography, I love art, I love building things, I love writing and expressing myself that way. I love decorating, I just love anything that is creative. When it comes to the school side of things, not so much. Didn't excel there, but art is what feeds my soul so greatly. And so I wanted to bring some more of that into my little Instagram store. And so my dream is to eventually have some canvas prints that I've drawn for sale there as well. And so that's something that I'm trying to focus on learning how to do this January, and I really want to bring that into my shop, bring different Bible verses in that I find encouraging, bring in just some of the beauty that I see in nature that I so desperately long to capture and bring into your home. And so we'll see what happens, because so far it has been a lot more difficult than I've expected. I've experienced a lot more problems with writing on canvas and not having the ink spread and just having everything turn out really, really well. And yeah, I definitely need to improve in those areas. But that is also an area that I've really been focusing on and have just been loving. Well, it is evening now. My husband is gone at work, and so I might just happen to go down and sit by the fire and do some artwork. So thank you so much for watching, and have a fabulous week. Stay safe, be blessed, and I will see you hopefully next Saturday in my next video. Bye, you all.